You ever notice how being in debt feels like owing money to the mafia? Except the mafia wears a suit and works at your bank. They smile, offer you reward points and cash back, and before you know it, you're paying interest on a pizza you ate 3 years ago. But here's the truth. Debt isn't just a money problem. It's psychological warfare. Your brain is being hacked every time you swipe that card or sign that loan agreement. And unless you understand how the system manipulates your mind, you'll keep playing a game that was designed for you to lose. Today, I'm going to show you how to flip the game, how to rewire your brain, beat the system, and finally escape the debt trap for good. And if you want to understand how money really works, not the version they teach in school, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications, because this is where we break down the rules they don't want you to know. All right, let's get into it. The trap, how the system keeps you broke. Let's start with the ugly truth. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed to keep you paying forever. Credit cards, loans, buy now, pay later deals, they all look different on the surface, but they share one goal: turning your paycheck into someone else's passive income. The average person owes thousands of dollars across multiple loans. A little here on the credit card, a bit more on the car, maybe a few years left on those student loans. And each one charges its own interest, growing quietly in the background, while you're busy just trying to keep up. That's how they win. Because the system doesn't care if you ever pay it off, it only cares that you keep paying. Every month you send money to the bank, they celebrate. Every month you make a minimum payment, you're stuck one more round in their game. Debt isn't just expensive. It's designed to drain your energy, your focus, and your future. It keeps you working harder just to stay in place. But once you see the trap for what it is, you can start finding a way out. And that starts with understanding the real enemy. Not money itself, but how your own brain reacts to it. Your brain on debt, why you keep falling for it. Here's something most people don't realize. Your brain is not built for modern money. It's built for survival. It wants food, safety, and quick rewards. That's why it loves spending and hates waiting. When you buy something, your brain releases dopamine, that little hit of pleasure that makes you feel good. But when it's time to pay the bill, different story. The brain reacts with stress and avoidance. It's the same part that lights up when you're in danger. So what do most people do? They avoid looking at the numbers. They hide from the problem and hope it goes away. But it doesn't. It grows slowly, quietly, like financial quicksand. The longer you ignore it, the deeper you sink. That's why paying off debt isn't just about discipline, it's about psychology. If you've ever felt ashamed, overwhelmed, or frozen when thinking about your finances, that's not weakness, that's wiring. Your brain is doing what it was programmed to do: avoid pain. The key is to stop letting those instincts control you. Once you understand how your mind works, you can start using it to your advantage, and that's where the real game begins. Before we get into the strategies, tell me in the comments what's one thing about money that stresses you out the most. You'll be surprised how many people feel exactly the same. The logical fix, the avalanche method. Now that you understand how your brain reacts to debt, let's talk strategy, the logical kind first. If you asked a mathematician how to get rid of your debt, they'd probably tell you to use what's called the avalanche method. Here's how it works. You list all your debts by interest rate from the highest to the lowest. Then you pay the minimum on everything except the one with the highest interest. Every extra dollar you can find goes there. Once that debt is gone, you move down the list. Like an avalanche rolling downhill, you build momentum and save the most money and interest along the way. It's clean, it's logical, it's mathematically perfect. But here's the problem. People aren't robots. Most of us don't get excited about spreadsheets or compound interest charts. We want to feel progress, not just calculate it. And that's why, even though the avalanche method makes sense on paper, it doesn't always work in real life, because logic alone can't compete with emotion. You don't lose the debt battle because you're bad with money, you lose it because the system was designed to exploit your psychology. But once you understand that, you can flip it in your favor. And that's exactly what the next method does. It uses your brain's natural chemistry to help you win.
The psychological fix, the snowball method. Now let's flip the script and talk about a method that actually works with your brain instead of against it. It's called the snowball method, and it's built entirely on psychology. Here's how it works. You list your debts again, but this time you arrange them by balance, smallest to largest. Forget the interest rates for now. You pay the minimum on all of them, except the smallest one. You attack that one with everything you've got. When it's gone, you move to the next. Each debt you crush gives you a quick win, and your brain loves quick wins. It's like a video game. Every time you pay one off, you level up. You feel that rush of accomplishment, that hit of dopamine that tells your brain, hey, this is working. That feeling keeps you going even when the next challenge is bigger. Now, technically, you'll pay a little more in interest compared to the Avalanche method, but studies show that people who use the Snowball method are far more likely to actually finish the process. Because when you feel progress early, you stay motivated longer. And that's the secret. This isn't just about math, it's about momentum. So if you've been stuck for years, it's not because you can't do the numbers, it's because your brain never got a reason to believe it was winning. The Snowball method gives it that reason. Leveling up, combining logic and psychology. By now you've seen both sides of the game, the logical and the psychological. But what if you didn't have to choose? What if you could combine both and make them work together? That's what I call the Smart Snowball. It starts with psychology, but finishes with logic. You begin with your smallest debts to build confidence and momentum. Once you've cleared a few, you switch gears and target the ones with the highest interest rates. That way you get the best of both worlds. Early wins to keep your motivation high, and long-term savings to keep your wallet full. The truth is, financial success is never just about one strategy. It's about building habits that last. Each time you make a payment, no matter how small, you're training your brain to choose discipline over impulse, patience over panic, progress over perfection. And the best part? Once you see how powerful that momentum feels, you start applying it everywhere else. Saving, investing, even how you think about money. That's when paying off debt stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like power. Because the goal isn't just to get out of debt. The goal is to stay out and build something that lasts. Escape the system, how the rich use debt. Now, once you've broken free from bad debt, the next step is understanding how to use debt the way the rich do. Because here's the truth, rich people don't hate debt. They just know how to make it pay them back. The poor use debt to buy things that lose value. The wealthy use debt to buy things that create income. One turns you into a slave, the other turns you into a boss. When you borrow money to buy a car, that car loses value the moment you drive it off the lot. But when an investor borrows money to buy a rental property, that property pays for itself, and often for the loan. Same tool, completely different result. It's not about avoiding debt forever. It's about understanding the difference between good debt and bad debt. Good debt makes you money. Bad debt costs you money. Once you understand that, you stop fearing the system and start using it. Because the real game isn't about being debt-free. It's about being free, period. And if you made it this far in the video, tell me in the comments, are you Team Avalanche, Team Snowball, or Team Smart Snowball? I'd love to know what's working for you. Debt isn't forever. Ignorance is. The truth is, the system was never designed to make you rich. It was designed to keep you working just enough to stay in debt. But once you understand how the game works, you stop being the pawn and start playing like the king. You don't have to be perfect with money to win. You just have to stop playing blind. Start small, build momentum, and keep moving. Every payment, every habit, every smart choice gets you one step closer to freedom. If this video opened your eyes, don't let it stop here. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because the next videos will take you even deeper into how to use the system against itself to build wealth instead of feeding it. I'm Mr. Coin, and that's your change for today.